All right, welcome to The Slice, live on location here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Could not be more excited to be here at the Winnipeg National Bank Challenger presented by M Builds. There's a fantastic tennis community out here in Winnipeg, but the topic of conversation in this show is Carlos Alcaraz going out in Toronto to Tommy Paul. We thought we'd be calling him Carlos Canada, but Tommy Paul says, no, I'm TP Canada. He takes out Carlos, and Djokovic has got a potentially tough draw in Cincinnati. So we're going to be breaking down Toronto, Cincinnati from Winnipeg. This is The Slice. Thanks for being here. Okay, what is going on? Thanks for being here. If you have not yet, subscribe, because if you subscribe, it's scientifically proven to help you get closer to playing on a court like this. I mean, what a beautiful facility here in Winnipeg. We got Canadian Braden Schnurr practicing right behind us. He's making a comeback after injury, which is great to see. But yeah, the big news of the day is Carlitos Alcaraz going out to Tommy Paul. Carlos goes down. Tommy Paul is triumphant. And I said before this match, and we'll get into what happened, but I said before this match, I love this matchup because both guys are super athletes. I mean, Carlitos, there's nothing more that needs to be said. He just beat Djokovic, winning Wimbledon. He's won 2 majors. He's number 1 in the world. He's the golden boy of tennis for the next 10, 15 years. That's confirmed. But Tommy Paul is also such an amazing athlete. He's not huge. I think they're both probably the same height, and they're just incredible movers around the court. They both have good serves, but they aren't serve reliant, and they can both mix it up, and they play with so many different shots in their arsenal. So it just makes for a super interesting watch. If you watched the match last night, Alcaraz was not happy with his level at the end of the first set when he dropped it, threw his racket against the bench. So, people always talk about who's he more like, Federer, Djokovic, Nadal. Well, Nadal, I don't think he's ever done that. So maybe Carlos has got a little bit more fire than Nadal. Maybe he's closer to Federer, who smashed a few rackets, but we'll see. But anyways, it was a great match, very tough. What I saw there was it came down to it. Tommy Paul got up a break. I wasn't able to watch the full match, but Tommy Paul up a break in the third set, 5-2. Carlos holds 5-3, only one break, and then Tommy's got to go serve it out. That's always a challenge. Can you serve it out? And Tommy, it was 30-all. I think it was 30-15 actually at one point in the final game, and Tommy's hit amazing slide, foot out, backhand cross-court pass that put Alcaraz literally on the court, had him, giving him the clap. It was amazing. So great performance from Tommy Paul again last year. And the difference is last year, Tommy Paul beats Carlos when Carlos is still unproven. He has in a way, not really actually that unproven. He had beaten Djokovic and Nadal to win Madrid, and so never mind on that. He just never won majors. Now he's won 2 majors. Now he's kind of the best player in the world for sure. And Tommy Paul just beats him. So that's huge confidence for Tommy after a great start to the year, a bit of a slow time in the middle. And now he's up to, in the live rankings, 12th in the world, almost top 10, which is incroyable, as the French would say. So let's take a look at the draw. Here we've got, as you can see, Tommy gets through Alcaraz, and Jannik Sinner takes out Gael Monfils in a tight one as well. And, you were thinking with Alcaraz out, now Sinner's the favorite to win. Is that pressure? How's he going to handle that pressure? And he handled it. Wasn't easy. Gael Monfils is still dangerous at this point in his career, but great performance from Sinner to get through. So he'll play Tommy Paul in the semifinals. What a matchup that is. And then on the bottom half, it's the land of the unseeded players. We've got Davidovich Fokina. It's the land of the unseeded players and the acronyms. We've got ADF versus ADM. Alex de Minaur and Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. Fokina comes through fairly steadily against McDonald to make the semifinals. Big result for him. And de Minaur, who's been playing good tennis, takes out Diallo, who's going to be at this tournament, takes out Fritz, takes out Medvedev. So de Minaur is on an absolute demon run, you could say. And that's great to see. So that's going to be a super athletic, super fast semifinal there on the bottom half. All these guys in the final stage of this National Bank Open in Toronto are super athletes, super movers around the court. So that is super interesting, if you ask me. So yeah, so that's that. What do you guys think about Carlos going down? Is that a big deal? I mean, it's the level of talent is deep. Carlos isn't going to come out here and wipe everyone off the tour for the next 10 years. It's going to be deep. Talking to Brad Stein back March or so, he posed the question, who of this next gen talent pool, FAA, TFO, Fritz, Tommy Paul, all these North American guys, Musetti, Sinner, who are going to be the guys who really step up and win the majors? We already know Alcaraz is, because he's already won 2. Who else is going to join him? And those guys are hungry. Those guys are really hungry to prove that, Alcaraz isn't just inherently way, way, way better than them, even though, some people might think that. So that's going to be an interesting storyline over the next decade that I'm fully signed up, bought my ticket to watch. So that's great. So now let's look at the Cincinnati draw, which I have not looked at yet. Actually, I quickly scanned it, but I have not had the chance to really look at it. So we're going to do that now live. We'll do it live on the show, and that's going to be good. Let me just pull it up for you here. Everyone loves the draws. You want to see the draws? We got the draw. Carlos Alcaraz, number 1 seed on the top, and we've got Novak Djokovic on the bottom. Let's start with Djokovic's draw because I've been hearing on tennis Twitter that it's tough. So he's going to play the winner of Alejandro Davidovich Fokina or Thomas Etcheverry, both playing great in 2023, both great players. So that is a first tough match for Djokovic. That is true. And then he could play either Cam Norrie, Alex de Minaur, both 2 semifinalists in Toronto, or Gael Monfils, who's playing great tennis in his third match, in his second match in the third round. That's also tough. Going to the quarterfinals, he could play Taylor Fritz or Jannik Sinner or one of these other guys. I mean, everyone's just amazing. There's no not elite players here. Even the qualifiers that are going to come in will be elite. So he could play Jannik Sinner, Yuri Lehechka. That's the quarterfinals. And then semifinals is going to be either Holger Rune, Daniil Medvedev, potentially Felix Auger-Aliassime, Alexander Zverev, if they can get their stuff together. Holger Rune and Daniil Medvedev being on the bottom half, though, tough again for Djokovic. He's had trouble with Medvedev on hard courts. We know that. He's had trouble with Rune on hard courts. We know that. Both in finals of big tournaments, might I add. So, yeah, this is a very tough route for Djokovic. And then, if he makes the final, he's either going to play, Rublev, Tsitsipas, Ruud, or Alcaraz. So, potentially, that could be a very, very tough route all the way through for a title in Cincinnati that Djokovic will be looking to get again. They've changed the trophy. It's no longer looking like this. I don't have a picture of the new one, but it's not looking like this. Anyways, so let's look at Carlos's path. Carlos could play John Isner or a qualifier. So that's fairly simple for him in his first match, you would think. And then look at that. Who's that there? Tommy Paul, his nemesis. He could play, out of these guys, I would pick Tommy to get through there, but you never know with how deep he goes in Toronto. So he could play Tommy Paul or Hugo Humbert in the round of 16. And then it's either Francis Tiafoe, Casper Ruud, Stan Wawrinka. And then in the quarterfinals, or semifinals, actually, no, is that the... Yeah, no, that's the quarterfinal. So it would be like Francis Tiafoe or Casper Ruud, and then it would be Tsitsipas or Rublev in semifinals. So I think Alcaraz definitely has the softer part of the section of the draw than Djokovic in Cincinnati. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, though. Of course. Let's look at some of the other first-round matchups, because there's a lot of fire ones. Ben Shelton, Chris Eubanks. Are you kidding me? American Dream, born in the USA. Let's go. That's an amazing matchup. People want to see that. Stan Wawrinka, Brandon Nakashima. The American crowd will be going nuts for that, I'm sure. Francis Tiafoe, Talon Griekspoor. Kecmanovic, Tommy Paul. Every match, first-round match, is good. That's incredible. Sebastian Korda versus Borna Coric. Are you kidding me? Karen Khachanov, he's back, versus Andy Murray. Are you kidding me? The list goes on. Who else we got? Matteo Berrettini versus FAA. How many more can we have in the first round? Zverev versus Dimitrov? Unreal. Daniel Evans versus Lorenzo Musetti? Unreal. Lehechka versus Fritz, unreal. What a draw in Cincinnati. I mean, that's stacked. No offense to Toronto for the ATP, but this is a much more dense draw. With Djokovic there, it feels more like all the best players in the world are there to compete, and that's amazing. So yeah, that's Djokovic's draw in Cincinnati and what we saw happen to Carlos between Carlos and Tommy Paul in Toronto. What are your thoughts? Leave them below, as you know. For now, though, we're in Winnipeg, so stay tuned to our social channels. We are in Winnipeg, Canada, Manitoba, Canada, which, if you don't know, is in the middle of our Canadian country here. It's in what we call the prairies. People say a lot of things about the prairies. They say it's flat, which it is. They say there's no fun here, which is not true. The whole tournament staff here in Winnipeg, they're putting on an amazing. This is a brand new facility. These are the first time these courts are being played on, and they look mint. And yeah, it's going to be a great week. So I'll be doing interviews with some of the big names we got. Who do we got here? Great point. We've got Alexi Gallarneau, friend of the show, Canadian rising star. Gabriel Diallo, another Canadian rising star, also friend of the show. We've got David Goffin, 7-time winner on the ATP Tour or something like that. Former ATP number 7. He's here with a ranking of like 110 right now, coming back from injury. And Jack Draper, who I did see at breakfast this morning, so he's confirmed on site, will be playing for the first time since he had to withdraw at Roland Garros. So, I mean, what more could you want? We've got a great tournament here. There's a great tournament going on in Cincinnati, and there's a great tournament going on in Toronto. So that's the ATP lowdown. That's the slice, and that's why you come here. So thanks for being here. The bugs are real in Manitoba. I will say that. I'm getting attacked by bees constantly already. But yeah, it's just the dangers of being in the trenches on the pro tennis circuit. You got to do it. Someone's got to do it, and I'm happy to do it for you. So thanks for supporting us. Thanks for subscribing, clicking the links below, and just getting around the content that we'll be pumping out here this weekend here at the Winnipeg National Bank Challenger, presented by M-Builds. See you next time.